Italy couldn't have come at a better time for me in my personal life. The reinforcement of how they live their life there was exactly what I needed to see in action. I needed to
Mm,
see that the way I view my life was working for real, right? Rather
mm,
than just something I speak about and something that I hope I chose the right path on. It was good to see it in action. For example, I don't drink coffee. I don't
mm.
take a shot of espresso. And I surely couldn't imagine a day where I would do those two things at the same time and then be able to fall asleep 4 hours later for 2 hours in the middle of the day. That just doesn't even seem plausible, right? And so when you go there, you realize that the espresso is not keeping you up. It's the stress. It's not
Mm.
the it's not the wine and the cigarettes that kills us early. It's the stress. It's not the business that's burying us. It's the stress, right? And Italy was a culmination of seeing those things in action where you go, yeah, see, I told you so. This is the key of how people have found out a way to live, and they've put their priorities first, and their priorities are their time, their life, their family, and then everything else supports that. Unfortunately, you're correct in saying that we kind of do things backwards here. We put the business or the finances up front, and then everything needs to support that. Everybody needs to be on board to support this mission, or we just don't have time for you or it or them, right? And
Yeah.
so I am no exception. I climbed that same ladder. I paved that same road. If I could go back in time, I'd do things different, but I didn't. But at my age now, at 42 years old, the realization for me really made a lot of sense once my son was born. And I think the fact that we're having this conversation is proof that it's happening for you as well. There
Yes.
becomes a shift in the way we see time. It becomes more real.
Mhm.
So for me, it was an opportunity to say, okay, how do I maximize this opportunity with him? You know, and it's definitely not making the same money at the gym or the same money with the entrepreneurial businesses. It's definitely not the same time commitment and the accolades that come there. That all takes a drop uh, in all avenues, so that my life with my kid could take a rise, right? And
Yeah.
so, if we're always filling this time bubble, if we're committing 20 hours of our day or 16 hours of our day somewhere, they all 16 hours are allocated. It just depends on where we're going to put that time and energy. And there are some fallbacks. Um, when it comes to that, I think it's hard for a lot of people to swallow that pill to think, well, how could I financially take a step back? That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And I think that once you cross the bridge into understanding what it is we're really shooting for, it almost seems asinine to think the other way. Um, when we were there in Italy, this reoccurring thing kept happening where we talk about finances in a way that we talk about it in the West. We're sitting at this cantina, and almost organically, me and a couple of guys that were grabbing lunch would say, "Man, if they had two more servers, they could kill it here. If they had if they had a few taps more, they would kill it here." And I found myself saying this a lot. I think, man, I'm so behind. These guys are like, they are killing it. They in fact are killing it. I don't know if you know the fisherman on the dock story, or do you know that analogy? Do you know that story?
No,
I'll give
give it here.
I'll give you the brief version. There's a fisherman on the dock, and he's fishing out there, and on vacation, very well-to-do man sees him there. Says, "Hey, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm just fishing. I sell the fish to the market." The guy says, "Hey, if you get 5 fishing poles, you could triple your money, and then you could even buy a boat, and you could get even more fish and make even more money, and then you could hire people to do this for you, and then you could do whatever you want." And the guy says, "You mean like sit here and enjoy my fishing?" And it just
Yeah.
becomes this real circle that we understand what is it that we're chasing, and could we just go to the end? And so when we were there, that reality kept setting in. Like, no, we're not trying to hire more people. Matter of fact, we're trying to close. we're gonna
Yeah.
go. We're gonna go home.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful in all those ways.
Yeah, I love that story too because it's like, well, let's do all this, let's kill it so that we can go back to what we were doing in the first place, right? At a lower scale. And that is a very interesting way of thinking about things.
Yeah.
At the same time though, now that my son is born, I feel more inclined than ever to be connected to my mission to show him that, you want to live a life of authenticity and towards something that you truly believe in from your heart.